I'm so glad you joined me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. I hope that you've been with me all week as we've talked about life. Today we're going to talk about living a full life. I have talked to some older people as they have been dying, as they are very near the end of life and they're looking at their life and thinking about their life. I've really seen some despondent old people. I didn't do this. I wish I would have done this. My life would have been better if I had only. That's what I hear, honestly. If I had only been brave enough to get out of a really awful marriage, if I had only traveled more, if I had only had better relationships with my children. I have heard so much of this. I know the end of an empty life. I have seen it and heard it with great sorrow. We're going to do our best today to start you on a road that is going to keep that from being your story or your child's story. So come on, let's go. I hope you're going to have fun with this one today. I have had a full life. It is not even a joke. Man, I have done things some people could never imagine. Okay? I owned a motorcycle. I really loved to ride. I owned a beautiful, extremely expensive sports car and drove it like a crazy person because I love to go fast. I have been on more roller coasters than you could imagine. I have taken my kids around the world and we have done the most incredible things. I have gone places as a nurse doing relief work around the planet with all kinds of people in all kinds of situations in multiple cultures. I have traveled for fun. I love Alaska. I really have had a full life. I want to tell you something. Until I was 18 years old, other than driving across the bridge to go to Canada because my grandparents were Canadian, I never went anywhere in my whole life. I lived in the same house, in the same town, with the same people. I would have never dreamt that I would have the kind of life that I have had. And so, just because you're young and you've never done anything doesn't mean you don't have time to have a full life. I just want you to know that. Okay, so you are responsible for your life. I've told you that before. I'm going to keep right on telling you because it's true. If you want to go skydiving and you've always wanted to go skydiving but you've never done it, shame on you. Call up somebody somewhere that'll teach you how to parachute safely, get your butt in a plane and go skydiving, okay? If you don't have the cash for it, find a way. I promise you, I was dirt poor as a kid. I was very poor as a single mom. I still got to do some things. If there's a will, there really is a way, okay? Especially if you smoke. Man, quit now. Save up all that cash. I don't care if you're spending $5, $6 a day. Give me a break. That's $150 a month. Do you understand me? In 10 months, you'd have $1,500. That's not only enough to pay for skydiving lessons, that's enough to go a lot of times, okay? Make up your mind, find a way. If you've always wanted to go scuba diving, but you don't even know how to swim, get your behind to the Y, take a swimming lesson, and get going, okay? Don't come to the end of your life and go, I wish I would have. Look at your life right now, what you really want to do, what is really amazing, and get going. I mean it. I don't even care if you start looking on the internet about things like, what do I have to do if I want to skydive? What do I have to do if I want to go scuba diving? What do I have to do if I want to fill in your blank? Become a great pastry chef or learn how to make incredible pies, or I don't care. Whatever is of interest to you that's really going to give you a full, rich life, get started. Did you get that? Get started. When a parent has a really rich, vibrant life, they are already modeling in front of their children what that looks like. Remember, a lot more is caught than taught. When you have a great life and you have a rich life and you have a full life, your kids are going to know how that looks and how that functions. So show them, okay? It is not about the stuff you have. It is much more about the things you do. Richness of life is far more often about activities and things of great emotional and mental interest than it has ever been about the stuff you've got. Trust me, the stuff you've got is just going to be sold in a garage sale or an estate sale when you're dead. Okay? Nail that down in your thinking somewhere. I mean it. Because it isn't what you have that makes your life rich. It is who you are and what you do. Okay? Get that really straight. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you know what you love? Okay, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. This is very specific. Do you know what you love? If you don't, start finding out. You can't possibly develop a rich, full life if you don't even know what you love. Okay? If you love to eat, then maybe you're going to want to start going to really cool restaurants. I have a son that goes to restaurants around the United States, all over the place, takes his kids there when he can to go eat certain things. I mean, he literally travel hundreds of miles just to go to a restaurant and eat certain things. He loves to eat. Oh, and he's really skinny. I mean, he's not a chub. You know, he just loves to eat, and he loves to eat good food. Okay, that's actually, they have a blast. That's really, really fun. I actually love Christmas. Okay, so I'll go places pretty far, hundreds of miles, to go to really cool Christmas shops because that's a blast for me to look at really pretty decorated trees and get ideas. So, yeah, what do you love? Now, I want to tell you something. I read a book recently that was amazing to me. So I'm going to tell you about this book. It'll be in the description. I'd really like you to read it or look it up. It's called Love Does. D-O-E-S, Love Does, by Bob Goff. Really an amazing book. And he's a guy who kind of like grabs life by the horns, or the other end. But anyway, really grabs onto life and goes and lives it. You know, he said his kids, they had this idea and they wanted to go somewhere. They didn't talk about it. I mean, they got their passports, they got things ready, and they went. Now they have bucks, so, you know, they could do it. But nonetheless, that man is so committed to life and living life and taking his kids on the journey with him. It's really awesome. So I know I found it online for, I think I got it for $2.99 used. You can get it pretty inexpensively. I would encourage you to take a look at that book and look at the way that that guy grabs a hold of life and lives it. It's like this. You can sit down with a piece of watermelon and take a fork and take this little teeny piece of it off the edge and put it into your mouth. Or you can pick up that slice of watermelon and dig into that baby and get juice all over your face and your clothes. That is life. Okay? Which way are you going to do it? Are you going to grab on and really shove your face in there and get a good solid chomp of the stuff till the juice is running down your face? Or you take this little teeny piece and barely even really get the flavor of it in your mouth. What are you going to do about living a full life? So let me tell you a couple of things in helping your child gain the intention of living a full life. One, live a full life yourself. That means do work that you love, play and love that, explore interests that you have and love that. I mean, love your own life. Model that for your children. Two, discover what your child loves. It might not be anything that you like, and let them pursue it, especially if it's going to become either a career for them or something that is a lifelong interest. You want to find it and develop it. The sooner the better, and let them explore it in all kinds of avenues, in all kinds of ways. And that gives them a full life so they can love their life and live a full, rich life. That's what you want for them. So you've got to start developing that and pay attention to your child. What do they love? Okay, I have a sister who loves dance. I'm about as ungraceful as an orangutan. Honey, that ain't in my vocabulary. I don't dance worth a lick. She dances really beautifully. Okay, we aren't the same. She paints in oils, sometimes in acrylics. I mostly paint with fabric. I really far prefer to applique, although I can paint. But I also love to crochet. She doesn't know how. Every single kid in your family is going to have different interests. And you need to find those interests. All right. That means you need to let your kids cook if they're interested in cooking, and big deal if they make a mess in the kitchen. Teach them also the value of cleaning up. But you need to give that kid a really good, strong sense of what do they like and what do they love, because that's going to contribute to them living a rich, full life. Okay? If your kid is super daredevil, like one of mine, you need to do things like teach them how to build a ramp so they can jump over stuff and go on and on with it as they get older. Make that adventuresome part bigger and bigger. Try to keep it within a safe parameter. We'd put things like straw down, or we dug an old mattress out of someone's trash out in front of their house. It wasn't filthy or anything. They were just getting rid of it so that when he would do some of this stuff, he'd have a safe place to crash. But you do things and let him find out. I can't imagine what Evel Knievel's mom did when he was a little kid. I always try to picture that. But that boy had that wild streak in him from birth. I promise you that was part of who he was. And he said it over and over. No matter how many broken bones he suffered or how many injuries he sustained, he loved his life. He lived a rich, full life. That's what you want for your child. If your child is born to be somebody's mama, and you're not like the most nurturing human being on the planet, do you know what? You need to develop that and foster that in your child. You need to let your daughter, have babies or spend time around people with babies. If you don't have any friends with babies, find somebody at church or someone in one of your social circles who has a baby. Foster that if they really love it. Okay. I really love being a mom. I have a sister that wasn't her best part of life. She far preferred to work. See, everyone is different. You need to find out what's of great interest to your child, and then you need to develop that to the hilt. I mean, just as absolutely as much as you can. And let me tell you, if you think that interest of theirs is dangerous or a little strange and a lot different than what you would do, and you might have a tendency to be critical of it and try to squelch that, you are setting your child up for a miserable, wretched life, because you're going to cut off or criticize what really matters to them. Whoa, that's a bad setup. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Doesn't matter if it's way different than you. Doesn't even matter if you fully approve of it or understand it. As long as it isn't self-destructive or stupid. By stupid, I mean something like a 3-year-old who looks at you and says, yeah, when I grow up, I'm going to be the president of a company that makes big cars or yachts. And yet you don't live anywhere near a river and they've never seen a boat. Oh, but let me tell you, there's this guy called Noah. So even sometimes what might look really stupid to us actually might not be nearly as stupid as you think. I think that's such a good illustration for all of us. You need to let your child develop in the places they are interested, though it might seem nuts or stupid to you, because it might be the most fulfilling thing they ever do. Okay? You want them to have a full, rich life. Also, teach them. They don't have to explain themselves to people. I don't have to explain to my brothers and sisters why my life is different. It just is. I used to feel a great need to. I think it's good to let a child know. No, you don't have to defend who you are, and you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. If you aren't causing harm, and especially if you're doing good, everyone else is just going to have to deal with the fact that you have the right and the privilege to live your own life responsibly. You know that about me. And live it fully. It's really okay. They can do that. Let them know that. It's all right. Even if I, as your mom, even if I do not understand as your dad just exactly what you're doing, I respect you and I care about you and I value who you are as a person. I want you to have a rich, full life, and this is going to be a part of your life. You go for it. I knew someone who really wanted to go into the Peace Corps. Oh my gracious. Her mom and dad had a fit. You are not going to this third world country. You are not going somewhere where you don't have good medical care and you're out there on the mountainside. Like, you're not going to do it. Let me tell you, when she was 25, she did it. Her mom and dad had a fit. They didn't like it. They complained. They definitely did not support her. Do you know, she stayed with the Peace Corps for almost 15 years. She loved it. That was her life. That was her rich, full, joyous life. What a tragedy that her mom and dad couldn't share in that because they kept opposing it. They didn't even support. So if you want your child to have a rich, full life, I mean, really live life to the hilt, support them, value what matters to them, help them discover things and to grow in those areas that are so important to them in order that they might have a rich and full life. I'm going to say this one thing more to you. A rich and a full life involves good, close relationships. So when we talked last week about developing closeness, one of the things you can do to help your child have a rich and a full life, to really live a great life, is to have a close relationship with them, to be the best possible parent to them that you can. Go live a great, rich, full life today. It's great having you with me. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.